Hey guys, back with another equipment build video, and for today, we're working with this DJ equipment Flightcase. So we're here at the GLP Studios, and shout out to Jay DeSena of Just In Case Custom Cases. I'll link up here or in the description for the build and the design of this Flightcase. But for today, we're just finishing up on the modifications, particularly the audio connections and the power connections for this case. Okay, so come on over and let me show you what we're working with. All right, so we just got the top cover off, and for the meantime, I just removed the top shelf, which will house the laptop, probably a few pad controllers and real-time effects. But this is what we're working with. We're working with a Behringer Knox 404 2-channel mixer and a couple of Stanton T62 M2 vinyl turntables. All right? And of course, your Rane SL2 phono preamp and audio interface. So for the power strip, we needed to include a step-down transformer because the Stantons operate on 110 volts, but back here we operate on 220 volts. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of woodworking back here, right? Where we need to mount step-down transformer onto the wooden backboard and then mount that backboard via Velcro into the inside of this Flightcase, okay? We're also going to be mounting this power strip onto the backboard, okay? Simply terminate it via the Neutrik powerCON receptacle, okay? So the design of this setup is in such a way where you can actually leave the second deck behind. For those events and gigs where you just need one turntable, you can just bring this smaller setup, okay? But for those gigs and events where you need two turntables, you simply daisy chain the power from power out to power in and the audio out from here into the audio in on the main rig, right? And this is the part that actually got me excited about this build because this is the first time that I'm working with phono signal levels and chassis ground. And there's a little bit of MacGyvering that needs to happen in order to terminate that into one XLR chassis mount receptacle, all right? The rest of the audio connections are pretty straightforward. You have your balanced line level outputs on XLR, terminate them into two chassis mount XLRs. We've got two auxiliary outputs on RCA, unbalanced, terminate that into two XLR connectors on the chassis. And finally, we have a microphone input, balanced microphone input, terminate that into TRS balanced mic input on the Knox 404. And with that, let's head on over outside and cut up some backboard for the power strip. Hey, Future Brian here in the middle of the edit, and you guys probably know by now I decided to split the video into two parts because I thought the video was getting a bit too long, right? And just wanted to add, it being my first time dealing with phono level signals and chassis ground. Throughout this build, I was consulting my father, who is a proper electronics and communications engineer, alongside a thread post over at soundonsound.com. Link will be in the description. The long and short of it is, when you're grounding your unit, you want to make sure they are pointing to the same grounding reference point, right? And that's so you don't introduce mains hum or buzz into your audio signal path, okay? I show a few examples and discuss this more over at part 2 in the audio section part. But for now, just know that we decided to terminate all grounding tabs to the Rane SL2 audio interface. So that's including the Stanton turntables, the Behringer mixer, and all the XLR chassis grounding tabs. They all point to the grounding port of the Rane SL2 audio interface, right? So with that, topic timestamps for the power section is also in the description. Feel free to jump to the section that interests you most. All right, with that, let's get back to the build. All right, so we just opened up the Panther power strip, and we're going to re-cable a 3-wire power cable to ground, line, and neutral, but it's soldered onto the power strip. So I'm going to bring this over to the workstation and desolder the current cable, and hopefully the cable we have here will go through the strain relief, because it looks like it's only accepting two cable wire. Right, see you over at the workstation. So I won't go through the gear. You can definitely check out this video where I go about some of the equipment that you need in order to do these types of builds. All right, for today we're gonna go straight to desoldering this power cable and connecting a ground lead to this bit over here. All right, so we got that out, okay? And yep, did destroy the strain relief. So now we're gonna strip this 3-core power cable and wire the line and the neutral here and the ground and earth there on the far end, okay? Okay, so we've stripped the power cable. Standard wiring is brown is live, blue is neutral, green and yellow is your earth, right? So strip the cable and wire it accordingly. Yep, that's not going anywhere. So I just removed the Neutrik powerCON receptacle from the Flightcase. I'm going to show how it works over here at the workstation. So as you can see, there are clear labels on the connector. That's line, that's neutral, and that's earth or ground in the middle. Okay? So I'm basically going to strip this cable, which we soldered onto the power strip. And the same thing goes here too, which is the brown goes to the live, and the blue goes to the neutral, and the yellow-green goes to ground. Okay? So I'm going to bring this over to the Flightcase. I'm going to solder it there. All right? So we're done with the backboard. We've already secured the step-down transformer and the power strip. We're now going to connect the female IEC and terminate it into a regular plug. We got one that articulates 90 degrees because this power goes to the second turntable and it has to be connected to the step-down transformer. Like that. And we're going to cut the cable, something like that. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so we're about to solder the IEC plug, and this is also clearly labeled on the back, which is line, which is neutral, which is earth or ground. okay? This makes sense, line and neutral. It's the two-prong plug that we will solder to line and neutral that will go to the second turntable. The earth will make sense later, okay? But for now, we're going to solder this into earth, okay? Right, let's go. All right, last of the power connectors, standard IEC cable. We're going to re-terminate the IEC end into a Neutrik power connector. All right, let's get to it. So this is a Neutrik power connector. Has a few parts: the insert itself, the housing, the butt plug, and the strain relief. It's got 3 types of strain relief that you can choose from depending on the diameter of your power cable. In my case, this will seem to work, the white strain reliefs, okay? So we're just gonna re-terminate this. Like most Neutrik connectors, you wanna insert the butt plug first, followed by the strain relief. Strip the cable. The actual insert, you can clearly see it's also labeled. Usually the middle one is ground or earth. On the right, it's line, and on the left, it's neutral. Okay? All right, so this one consists of a green, black, and white cable. So when in doubt, just use your continuity tester to check. But I'm guessing the green is the ground, the white is the live, and the black is the neutral. Line is on the right, neutral is on the left, which is the black. Line is white, the bottom one is ground or earth, and that's the green, okay? All right, so usually Neutrik connectors have a groove that serves as a guide. This is no different. This is the outer shell, and you can see the groove. It's this groove. That'll line up with this. There, and it should slip in, okay? And the strain relief also has a guide. You can see it's got a slit and it should go into place. See? And then you twist it as far as it can go until the cable clamps on the cable, as you can see. And that's your power connector. So the way it works is it's got guides on the female receptacle. So you go and align the guides, push, and then twist until you hear it lock in. And you know you've got a good connection, right? To disconnect the power connector, you pull the tab, twist, and then you pull the plug again, right? So let's double check if this works. So we're gonna go, PowerCON's always good to connect the power connector first before you turn on your power strips. Or now I'm gonna connect to the mains. So now we've got power. I'm gonna try and turn on the mains. And we've got power, right? I'm gonna try and connect the Behringer Knox 404. And we've got power. You remember that grounding cable that we connected on the IEC? This is where we connected to the XLR chassis ground mounts. And that is the ground that connects to this second turntable, which I'll show you later. All right, so this is the grounding terminal. We're gonna crimp it using this 16 gauge wire. We have now soldered the 2-prong power cable for the turntable, terminated it on the IEC, and we have crimped our ground post for the grounding of the turntable. Over here on the IEC, we've got line and neutral going into line and neutral of your 2-prong power plug, and we've got the earth going into the middle plug, okay? So that when we connect an IEC from here to here, we now have the ground, which is the yellow and green wire, which we connect to both the ground here on the rain, and it goes all the way here. So all the XLR chassis mounts have been grounded. You can see the black shrinkables. And it also has been grounded to the grounding post of the mixer amplifier. Right? So that completes our power setup.